Hello everyone, my name's Bottletophornet and welcome to a slightly different episode of the Let's Play series. Being episode 30, I decided that I wanted to do a world tour. Folks have been coming into the series at different points, and I've had a lot of people ask for me to show off the world a little bit and show all the things that have been done so far. Now, I'm currently moving these mobs around and slowly cleaning up the base a little bit in what is our new repository build. We've have some glitching Enderman over there. But before we get into the main showing off of the whole island, let's just have a little peek up through the ceiling here. And actually pop back in to our world seed, a freshly spawned version of our world. And I've popped into creative so that I can get up into the air and actually have a look around at what it used to look like. And it's crazy. It's so weird to be looking at these islands back like they were when I first found them. 6 months ago when I didn't know what I was doing and just started this YouTube journey, this Let's Play series, and hoped for the best. And to think about where I am now and where the world is now is incredible. So this is it. This is the origins of the Isle of Ender. Now, the Isle of Ender is the name that I came up with for our islands in the area around here because over the time that I spent filming the episode and going through the series itself, I noticed that there was a ridiculous amount of Endermen were hopping into my base and around these islands. And it sort of started to mold the story that I came up with in my head as to the reason behind why I was building things and what this area was. So you can see down here, our little nether portal, our first one, and the one that we use as our main nether portal. And looking at this area, for those who've been watching the Let's Play for most of it, if not, caught up over time, you'll notice the difference as much as I do, I'm sure. It's just, it is a completely different area. Still has the same sort of feeling, the same shapes and whatnot, but definitely such a different experience than what it is when we're walking around at the moment. So I just wanted to pop in to show off the islands as they were when I spawned, so that when we pop back into the main Let's Play world, we can get a better feel of what it's like now. So let's do that. And I think one of the first things to do is to fly up in the air like we just were in creative and have a look at our islands from the sky, because they're a little different. I like that you can still sort of get the same feel, but the size and scale and everything that I've added to it is definitely, well, it's impressive to me at least. We're slowly building up many different parts of this island to come together in a way that makes sense to me as far as what the story wants to be. This Isle of Ender story is going to get bigger, and at the end of this episode, if you guys hang around, I'm going to do a little something that's going to kick off what I sort of like to feel is the next phase of the Isle of Ender story. Phase 1 was sort of building up these islands, getting the base to a good place where it feels like we have a lot of the things that we need. There's still more to add, but we have a lot of it. And now phase 2 is going to be moving on into more of the larger builds and the stuff that's related to the story and the idea that I've come up with. So keep watching for that. But for now, let's have a look around and start off the way that I did, if I can remember correctly, is I started on this beach and I made my way over here in one of the early episodes and crafted this area in here so that I could get my first storage system set up. And I really have fallen in love with this storage system. I really enjoy the way that it's set up, and I find it very intuitive for myself to come in and just grab whatever I need when I need it. Now, obviously, things have changed slightly from what they originally were. I used to have the way down to my mine shaft, or my mining area was down through here. But over time, learning what I actually needed and how I use this base, that had to change. This is a far better setup for myself as I am now and in the place that we are with this base. So we have animal products, mob drops, anything that's sort of like a farmable item, I suppose, in a way. A lot of this stuff is farmable things, and obviously there's still room for more stuff in the future, like probably honey and a few other things. And then over this side is more of our random building block types. So the stuff that doesn't fit into the main stone variants and wood variants, I have different places for over here. So concrete, this is for like the mossy versions, but I've only got cobblestone in here at the moment. We have terracotta, even though I haven't found a terracotta biome. What are they called? Badlands? But things like that. So setting it up, there's always room for improvement and changing it up. I might eventually mold the two quartz barrels together, but I really like the way that this flatter sort of look with the barrels rather than chests looks. Now, I should have said this at the start, but I know that a lot of you might find this very repetitive because you've seen it a million times. But this video is sort of a way for if people discover my Let's Play series and they want to get an idea of what I do and what the series is going to be like from here on out, this could be a good spot for them to get an idea and have something to look forward to. So I hope you can bear with me and we'll get through it. I think it's fun to look over everything that we've made so far. On the end here, I suppose you'd call them my valuables: diamonds, redstone, gold, iron, things that you would grab from mining, and also my end raid gear, things that I get from the end dimension like spare elytra. Over here I have my coal, some blaze rods, and I have the option for filling up 2 more barrels with different types of fuels. And I originally called this fuels, but I've ended up using it for more, I suppose, like workstations. And I think I had some other stuff in here at one point, but it's more random storage that I just want for no purpose. It doesn't need to have a full dedicated barrel for itself. Over here we have my stone variants, as well as like a little bit of sand and gravel and dirt and whatnot, but the natural sort of building blocks. So I have all my stone shulkers and shulkers worth, which I'm building up a really large supply because eventually I'm going to probably need 10 times that for the terraforming job that I want to do around this area. But I like to store all the extra stuff with shulker boxes. It keeps everything nice and clean. I can do big auto sorters, as you'll see up there in a minute, but I like this as something a little bit different to change how I work through my my Let's Play and use my storage in general. But with those on this side, I obviously wanted to have, as you can see from the way that this whole place is built, I use a lot of wood in my buildings. And so I've separated from the different types of trees. I don't have anything over here yet, but I might eventually add the 2 nether tree types over here as well. And then, wow, I had completely forgotten that. This is why we do world tours. This is great. I had forgotten that I had those sticks. Why do I keep making more? Good to know. I'm making a mental note of that. I have heaps of sticks. But as we started to need more room in the base, I started to expand down this way and created the larger hall, which became almost like, I suppose you'd call it our entrance, but it's not really. I tend to come in through that doorway a little more often than this one. But I quite often exit through here and fly out towards the Nether or anywhere out around the base. It's a nice big open area that I can go through and fly down through if I need to. This, for now, is where I smelt because I do some smelting, but I don't do a lot. And I actually had forgotten about this, but we have one of our original setups that was our plans, like our to-do list. That one can be removed. So, I mean, that one's a forever project, so I might just leave it there for the sake of it. But I like that these are here and a little reminder of stuff that I still need to do. If we pop up to the top here, I expanded this as I started to add automatic farms to the island. And when I made my mob farm, I needed a decent amount of automatic storage that could sort through my different items that are coming in from that mob farm. Oh, wow. Good to know. I feel like I'm discovering half these things with you guys. Obviously, I've been doing a lot of work around here, so the mob farm has been working well. That's good. That's a really good supply of gunpowder. But soon I'll trade up a lot of this stuff and get a bunch of emeralds from my villagers in the villager trading hall, which I'll show you in a moment. And the bone is great for, they've actually overflowed a lot, as has the rotten flesh. But the bone's great for making bone blocks for building and also getting huge supplies of bone meal for growing trees if I want to get a big supply of that and whatnot. My sugarcane farm up top has been chugging away. It's not super fast, but it's so much more than what I need as far as like one player. And at the moment, I don't need to upgrade it. And there's room for it in the future if I want to. And then at the end here, we have... Oh, good. That's been working well too. The melon and pumpkin farm is sending its stuff over here. I actually have a full shulker worth of melons, which I can trade for emeralds once again in my villager trading hall. So let's head over that direction actually and have a look at this. We'll probably tackle most of the things inside the base first, and then we'll head up on outside. So here, I originally had planned to have this as sort of the docking area where I would move my boats in through here and park them. But then I decided to play a little bit differently. I was going to take the Let's Play a lot slower, but now I realize that elytra are just the best things ever. There's always mobs. There's always mobs. Especially this guy over here. I think I want to kill him before I start showing anything off. I didn't even look at him. Well, that's just one of the things that we have to deal with on this Isle of Ender. There are Endermen everywhere, especially down here. I've been trying to move them and get a lot of them over into the new repository area. It's still a work in progress, as you can see. There's many different ways for me to move them, but I'm taking the time and not rushing it. It's something that I can do in between episodes whenever I like, and eventually it'll be ready. This is my villager breeder. I use a logical Geek Boy design. This angry boy is going to be frustrating the whole time. But his simple villager breeder and his Simply Minecraft series in general is absolutely amazing if you want iron farms, villager breeders, all sorts of different very handy things to use that just work. This is extremely simple, and I have more villagers than I would ever need in there. There's so many crammed into that corner that they're actually entity cramming and causing each other to go flying backwards, so there's heaps. And I created this little system in here that shuffles them out, brings them down, and over to this zombie here, where they'll stop in front of him, and he'll actually turn them into zombies, or zombie villagers, which I can then send down into this waiting bay and cure them. Because curing the villagers is what you need for making a really efficient trading hall. Now, it's a little messy at the moment because I've been moving some new ones in for different purposes. But in general, each and every one of these has at one point been turned into a zombie villager and then cured for really, really cheap trades. So obviously the first one that I got was my mending villager and a protection, and yeah, my unbreaking, because mending and unbreaking are super important if you're going to get elytra fairly early. Aerial Ambience is named after one of my longtime viewers, Ambient Chunk, who's been commenting from really early on, and a huge motivation for me to continue this series. I started naming some bits and pieces after different viewers, and please know that I do my best to read most of the comments and name those that I can, but there's so many different things going on in my mind that I might forget. And over time, I'll do my best to sort of honor the commenters and the early viewers to this series, because I really do appreciate everything that you guys have done and all the support that you've shown so far. So yeah, this is my villager trading hall. It's been doing really great as almost a makeshift XP farm, because as you can see by my levels, I don't have an XP farm in this world. Most of this is just from trading with these guys. And speaking of which, I may as well trade with them quickly to grab a few items and go to our next part of the base, because these bottles of enchanting are very important for that. I really should sleep for the night though, so maybe we'll go to the bedroom first. Where are you all coming from? Okay, so over here, I'll try and avoid the main bit, but is a little bedroom that we made in more recent episodes. Now, it has been blended in with this area a little bit more than in the episode itself, but it's a cozy little place, nothing too serious. It's just a nice spot that I can get to and sleep for the night, because I'm not going to spend a lot of time in here. It's just decorated a little bit and we move on. I still want to do some things to that, but it's not a bad design so far. The other thing that we have is our armory. Now, this armory is... Oh, man, I need to make some netherite armor to put onto those armor stands. And I need to improve this design a little bit, because I've put those there to stop Enderman like Xavier. Oh, of course I looked at him. While he's being noisy, I should turn down mob sounds. While he's being noisy over there, this here is where I add the bottles of enchanting that I get from my trading hall to fix up and heal all of my different tools that need mending. So because I've been doing a lot of stuff, the trading heals up my armor pretty seriously. But if we pop into here, at the moment I have to crouch But if we step on this pressure plate, it'll break all of those bottles and dispense the experience so I can mend up my tools like that. Cool. I got just enough. Now, I will fix that up in the future. I'll probably make it so that only I can just fit under there with 2 blocks. And Endermen, because we have a problem with them, they can't walk around and step on that plate. So I have the idea that over time I will eventually have a fully enchanted version of everything. Iron's obviously easy to do. I can probably do that at any time. I just haven't yet. But finding this one, the chainmail in an enchanted version, is really, really hard. So over time, every time I see a mob that has chainmail on, I'm just running for it, hoping that it'll drop. And then on this side, a few more pieces of chainmail that I should hopefully get after a little while of finding more mobs. I'll be able to fill that one in, and it's not that hard to make the netherite. Now, before we go to the outside of the island, we may as well go down here and talk about one of the more recent additions, which is this huge cavern that I call the repository. Now, the repository is designed to be a bit like the main hub of knowledge of the studies that have been going on and will be going on around this Isle of Ender. We have our Council of Endermen over here, and these guys, although they're probably not the original, these represent the sort of the first reasoning behind creating all this. Why are there so many Endermen? And we're slowly filling up some extra display cabinets down here with extra Endermen. I need to separate them a little bit from the boats and turn this one into the same as that over there. But over time, I want to fill that up and have them on display. Over this side, unfortunately, I lost my golden skeleton. He died to one of these guys. They got into a fight. But here is where I'm collecting sort of rare mobs. As in, whatever power is affecting this Isle of Ender is also causing mobs to appear with magical items or armor that they shouldn't have. They're rare, different people, especially this guy, that are worth collecting for study, for working out what's happening. So I've got them in there, lining them up. I'm going to put a couple more in here as well when we get them, and then I don't have to worry about collecting them anymore. And this display case over here is also ready for collecting some rarer skeletons and different bits and pieces. I like how they all just put their arms down because they're no longer aggro at me. If we go over here, go on. There it is. So yeah, this little room down here is set up for that. This part here is actually very, very close to the trading hall area, and directly above us, I think, is the villager breeder. So I might make a staircase that goes up into that area, sort of connecting the whole thing together. And someone in the comments, I'll have to check. I'm sorry, I don't have your name at mind right now, but they actually brought up how I should make a drowned section. And that's what I made this for. This little walkway here will eventually go out into the ocean, which is just past this rock face here. And I want to create a little bubble of sorts that houses some rare drowned. If I can capture one that has a trident and name him, I would really like to have that one permanently. So we'll see what we can do as far as that goes. In the middle here is going to be our future Hall of Patreons. Now, so far, 12 Patreon supporters have pledged some money each month to help me creating this series, and I appreciate it so much. My level 3 Patreon, Tom, you are an absolute legend. Thank you so much for the support. And the rest of you as well. I really do appreciate it. I'm going to do what I can to make this something pretty cool looking, and it's going to actually tie into a future project over that way, underground, that is related to the greater Isle of Ender storyline. And the last thing that we have down here is a work in progress, a little bit more than the rest of it. It still hasn't been detailed and fixed up. I was hoping to do that in between episodes, but life gets in the way, and I'd rather have this episode out a little earlier rather than spending all this time. So I'm going to make an office in here eventually, and down here is where we're going to slowly document the changes to this area, the changes to the Isle of Ender. So on the 22nd of February, when I was making episode 29, this is what it looked like. This was and is still basically the Isle of Ender as it is now. But over time, that's going to change. And so all of these spots here are going to be linked up and filled up, I should say, with maps showing the progress and the changes made. As well as in here, I think I'd like to, there probably won't be room in the Patreon hall. So here I'm going to put down the names in some books of all the subscribers that I can. all you guys who put your names in the comments. I'm going to fill that up in here so that we have, over time, a great documentation of the change in not only our world, but also the followers, the subscribers to this channel, because I love you guys. You're all amazing, and I really appreciate and just love that you guys are enjoying this series so much. This here is going to link up to another build, but I think for now, to look at those, it's worth heading outside. And I'll do it how I usually do, by flying out of that hallway and looking at, I suppose to start with, our currently unfinished, I missed my landing. Let's see if I can do it. Oh, let's see if I can do it now. Come on. Yes. Okay, so this is our dock area, which I'm starting to build up, and there's going to be a lot more here in the future. I need to finish this boat, but my idea is that over time, as the research started to expand on this Isle of Ender and trying to work out what was going on, more and more trade was required here. Myself and any people who wanted to come in and help discover the area, work things out, were coming in via boat, and eventually, as the technology is going to expand through this Let's Play, I'm going to add some steampunk style airships. I think the steampunk's really going to sort of go along with my semi-medieval style building, my sort of older style, as well as mixing it with the fantasy of this world, the idea that there is power and magic and all that stuff. So we're slowly building up this dock area. I'm going to add details as the inspiration hits me and I work out sort of how I want it set up. I started to fill this in with some gold, which is acting like the treasure. And one thing that I would like to do is turn this area here into a storage room for my treasure maps that I find as I explore the world. So there's that. And over here is our sort of, I suppose you'd call it a lighthouse, but really it's going to be a future beacon for airships coming in because they'll be able to see the flames up top. And here's our dockside warehouses. Now, a zombie got in and actually converted all of these guys back to zombie villagers, but I'll fix them up shortly and get them back to even better trade prices. But I've gathered some of the raw cod from our guardian farm, which we'll look at in a moment. And yeah, these guys are just good for trading some of the string that I have in there and the raw cod that we get from the guardian farm. This island is eventually going to be a largish farm, I think. There's going to be some farmhouses and some expanded areas to get these guys out of here because they've been there for a long time. And this warehouse on this side, this little room, will probably house a lot of the hay and the different supplies that I need for making all of that. So yeah, I'm going to go sleep again and then we can pop out and have a look at the greater parts of the island. One thing that I would like to mention before I pop out there is some of these Endermen are named and they're going to permanently stay here. So there was Ezekiel down there and here we have Lauren. Lauren's another commenter who I decided to name one of them after, and I like that Lauren's just sitting up there, will forever be sitting up there, just a random Enderman in a boat. We also have a slime over there that I want to do something with, put him in a nice spot, but that's for another day. So over on this island here, I've done some terraforming to create, I don't know, just some little paths which probably will eventually lead to different things. I love this little area in here, and this is over the top of that main area, which I think I'm going to change. I've got some ideas for that in the future, but we'll get there. I feel like I'm saying that a lot, but I do plan on doing this Let's Play for a very, very long time, so there's that. This right here is some leftover materials that I should get rid of, but this is my sugarcane farm, which I think it was episode 12 I built this, and this has just been sitting there chugging away and creating plenty of sugarcane for what I need to make these rockets. I've got a few beacons spread around because I've been doing a lot of digging, and that digging is because in a recent episode I actually completely hollowed out these islands. Whoa, yes. Give me the come on. Ah, can you imagine if I got that on film? Can you imagine if after talking about that I needed more of the enchanted stuff, I just got a piece? Ah, well, better luck next time, I suppose. So down here is just underneath our docks, and it's going to be the future home of a prison, where marauders and pirates and stuff from around the area trying to come and grab the treasures or the secrets of this Isle of Ender can be held. And I think I'd like to get maybe some villagers or some, what are they called? The patrols. Try and get them in here without causing a raid to happen because of all the villagers that I have around. But getting them in there and pacified without their bows anymore or their crossbows so that they're just sitting in these cells would be really cool. But I have this area here opened up for future farms. Automatic farms like this melon and pumpkin farm, which go back to my sorting system that's automatic over in the other island. And that is the shrouded version of my general mob farm. Inside there, and down a little bit as well, I have general mobs just being filtered through. You can see the Endermen have wreaked absolute havoc to this island. But yeah, these are just some basic farms that I have running through all of their items through some water streams back to the main island. Here is my iron farm, which I frankly want to change. It's not the best design, but it has been working and slowly over time been getting us a decent supply of iron, enough to work with. But in the future, if I want to do some bigger builds or even just start using iron as a building block, I definitely want something that's more efficient. But as you can see, it does work and we have a decent little supply down here. I might actually grab that now, make that up into blocks. So you can see it does do all right. I might actually put this chest piece in here because I don't want to lose that just in case. So that iron farm's been chugging away for a little while, but it's going to get an upgrade soon. And one of the reasons for that is also because I want to use this space. This area here, and here's where we start to get into the part where we talk about future parts of this Let's Play. This is going to be the home of a very, very tall black tower. Now, the idea for my story is, well, I don't want to give it away too much, but just keep in mind the number 9. 9 is important. 9 towers of black. 9 towers of black. Keep that in mind. So, with most of the stuff here shown off, there's obviously probably some little details that I haven't shown too much, but all of this is probably subject to change and details are going to get added and done over time. I want to do a little bit of a redo of my walkway system around here so it looks prettier. But I think it's worth now jumping into the Nether. Now, this is the Nether portal that we had at the very beginning when I was going through the world in creative, and I decided to drain it early on and use this as my first way through into the Nether for the first time. I created this little water elevator when I got back out so that it's easy to get back up top, and I quite often actually come down here with my fireworks and just launch straight out like so. That iron farm's working better right now than it has at any time in the past, I feel like. So I can come down here, and I actually got a really lucky nether spawn. Because while we're standing in our nether hub, which I'll show off in a second, one of the first things I noticed when I loaded into this world was a nether fortress. Right over there is the first nether fortress we saw, and it is now also going to be our main nether fortress because there's a double blaze spawner over there. I have started to create some interesting things in the nether. This bridge system, my piglin trading hall, and my gold farm up there, which I actually blasted. At the moment, it's only 11 by... I say only. Why do I say only? It is 11 by 11 wide, and I've done all of this in survival. This here is my nether hub. It's sort of a safe space, which once I get more beacons, will also house a beacon in there. But it's a safe space that I can go around, use my auto basalt generator for building, and head off in different directions. This goes down to my stronghold portal, and that one there goes down to my guardian farm. Now, before we head to the guardian farm, I'll do a quick fly around this area here. So, this over here is my piglin trading hall. Whenever I get gold, I can fill up these hoppers, and I have an etho hopper clock at the back that is designed to pass them a piece of gold every single time they get rid of their last item, which all gets auto sorted down into this section down here. I have all of the items sorted and placed in chests with plenty of room for more items in here. And this is a really great way to get some things like the nether quartz here is really hard to get in bulk. Once you sort of get rid of the larger area, you have to keep exploring further and further to find it. So having it in a renewable way here is great. And I never need to make an Enderman farm, even though some of you would like me to, which I might in the future. But this is all the ender pearls I'll ever need. And I also have a bit of an overflow of fire resistance potions and soul speed. If we fly up top here, ow, we have my collection system, which actually needs an overhaul. It's way too slow. It gets blocked and it doesn't work very well. So I need to fix it up and change the way that I've done it. I am not very good at redstone, but at the same time, I want to use this series as sort of not being perfect. I want to learn and explore by myself and get better at it by myself. I mean, I'll use tutorials, but I like the idea of trying stuff out myself and not going exactly by the book. We have a singular piece of ancient debris up here. I wanted to leave that there as proof that it doesn't always spawn down low. It does still have a chance of spawning up high. It's just far more likely at the lower levels of the world. And then if we fly up here, we have our almighty custom-made gold farm. So if I pop here and look down there, you can see that they're all attracted to the eggs in the center, and this thing just pours zombie piglins out. It's ridiculous. And that's why I need to upgrade my storage system down below so that it can actually handle the amount of gold that I get. It's so fast. And initial tests, and I think I can get it to run even better, but it's around 1,200 gold ingots worth per hour. So that's pretty good, in my opinion anyway. And I didn't really follow a design, I just knew the mechanics behind it and made this pretty much by myself. It's probably not as efficient as it could be, but for myself and my purposes, it's plenty. This is something that I've done a lot of time off camera, just spent hours and hours and hours using TNT and different methods to, come on, let's get it on camera. Yeah. To break through the bedrock. And I would like to start a little tutorial series in the future where I'm going to put little things like this as quick as possible, really short, succinct videos on how to do basic redstone, basic things that are really handy to know in Minecraft. But with that, we can head on over here just to quickly prove that I do have a double blaze spawner, which is these two right here. Perfect height to work together and create a blaze spawner in the future, a farm to get blaze rods. So I'm really happy with that spawn. I got really, really lucky, and I'm excited to do something with that in the future. I would really love another skeleton head from you, please. Drop down. Ah, well, it was worth a try. So that's most of the things that I have in the nether so far. This bridge system is still prepared for the future. And I like the way that these chains look through here. It sort of creates a larger feeling area than before. And obviously this is pretty impressive itself. If I fly over here, there's actually a bastion tucked away into a wall over there, which I'm going to raid one day soon. But there's so many different things that I want to do in this series. It's hard to actually keep track of and also just do them all. It's sort of... everything takes time, and hopefully you guys stick around for long enough to enjoy it all. Over this way is our guardian farm. And although it's a few thousand blocks away in the overworld, having the nether to travel around and using that nether hub creates a really easy way to get out to these farms that are further out. Now, it's becoming a bit of a thing, but I do plan to do something in the nether there to finalize that and make it look a bit cooler inside. But here is our guardian farm. Now this, I should sleep because it's no good showing it off in the darkness. This design was something that I came up entirely by myself. I decided that as it being the first time I'd ever built a guardian farm in Minecraft, I wanted to try and do it myself. I knew the basic mechanics. I knew that they spawned around the temples here, the underwater ocean monuments. And so I tried my best. Now, it's not amazing. There's obviously so many better ways to do this, but it is mine. It's my design and I'm so proud of it. So if I come up here, this is a little AFK box where I can just walk away from my computer and let them come through. And over time, we'll start to see, hopefully, yeah, there we go. coming up there as all the other ones despawn, a bunch of guardians. Because we're high enough in the world that essentially almost the only spot that they can spawn without despawning fairly quickly is inside that little chamber. So you'll see they'll start to drop down. I just use fall damage. It's not the perfect chamber for getting them in, but eventually they sort of cram themselves and they fall down. And the idea of this farm is that I can walk away from it. I don't have to spend, hours at the computer manually doing anything. I can just stand here, close these doors, and walk away from my computer, go have lunch, do anything else, and just let this to run. So down below, I have a little automatic sorting system. This is obviously still here from the last time I was here, getting rid of stuff and making room, and it still hasn't really got anything from when I emptied it last. But this will sort through our items, fill up these chests with the different shards and crystals, and obviously the raw cod. And I think we do sometimes get some, what are they called? Squids. The squids get pushed up into here as well. So a little byproduct, little chest on the end there, collects all that, and we get all right rates. I think I got probably 7 or 8 shulker boxes worth of stuff the last time I AFK'd here, and it wasn't for that long. So yeah, that's about all I really have at the moment in this world. It might seem like a lot to some, it might not seem like much to others, but I'm pretty proud of what we've got so far. Now I'm going to head back to the main base, and although I feel like this is already starting to run fairly long as an episode, I do just want to quickly talk about one thing that's going to happen very soon. Now, rather than putting in this episode, as I've started to walk around and do all of this stuff, I've realized that it'll probably make it go for way too long. So I might do a little secondary video, a little short couple of minute video to show it off in between this episode and the next, to start ourselves on the journey towards the next chapter of the Isle of Ender. I might do a little bit of a lore dump, a little bit of a teaser for the lore to come and the story to come. But like I said, one of the things that's going to be happening soon, roughly in the place of where this iron farm is a large black tower, which is one of the Towers of 9. So with that being said, I think the best thing to do is to finish the episode here. I hope you've enjoyed this little tour of the world. It's a large tour of the world, really. It's probably gone on a little longer than a lot of you had hoped for, and I haven't really achieved anything in this episode, so I'm sorry if you regular viewers were hoping for more. We'll be back to creating new things and trying new things in the episodes to come. I want to thank my Patreon supporters, especially Tom, my level 3 supporter. I appreciate the help towards making these episodes and the future of this channel. I really do appreciate it, and I look forward to making more of these videos for all of you guys. I love making this series, and I love working on this world, and I'm so excited to see what it looks like in another 30 episodes time. So with that being said, as always, I do hope you're all taking care of yourselves. And until the next episode, well, I suppose until our little teaser video for the Isle of Ender story, take care, and I'll see you then. Bye guys.